What's up, everybody? How's it going? So we've got a worthy mission today. You all know we're supposed to be saving the bees. Well, we should also save the yeast. Okay? So this is a mango IPA, the Big Island IPA that I'm making right now. Cheers, everybody. I fermented this with the White Labs WLP001 California ale yeast, liquid pack, and you can tell I had a nice healthy fermentation because I still have yeast residue way up here. I've got yeast down here on the trub, whatever you say. And I actually want to save this. So next time I want to use the California ale yeast, I can just go to my fridge, grab the mason jar, and I have a culture right there. Now, the yeast that I save in the fridge, I'm still going to want to do a starter with it next time just to get it reinvigorated. But today, our video is just about washing this yeast down here, getting the beer off of it, washing it with some good old purified water, and then collecting it in a mason jar, which we can keep in the refrigerator. Okay? So, the first thing we're going to do, or the first thing I'm going to do, is go get rid of this beer down here. Okay? I'll be right back. I'm just going to dump it down the old yard drain. Okay, so I got most of it. I lost a little bit of yeast too. You can probably see it coming down the side here. But that's okay. I just wanted to get rid of the beer so we're not carrying any of those flavors over. And that's why we're actually going to wash this. Okay? So, first things first, some people will tell you what the USPS guys pass. Appreciate those guys nowadays. I don't know that they get enough credit. Still out there on the roads bringing us our beer mail and our packages. Cheers, USPS, UPS, delivery, all of you guys. Medical staff, of course, but that goes without saying. Okay? So some people will say you need to use distilled water. You know, it's got all the nasty stuff removed from it because it's been distilled. But what they tell you in beer making over and over and over again is if the water's good enough to drink with, it's good enough to make beer with. So as far as I see it, there's nothing yucky in it that can contaminate the yeast. So today, I'm just gonna use purified drinking water. It'll be fine. Okay? So I'm gonna put half a gallon-ish in there. Just to wash it. Funnel couldn't hurt, could it? I've always got my sterilizer solution at hand in case, you know, you need to sterilize something. Okay, so half a gallon-ish. I can really smell that yeast. I love it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna give this a good shake to break all that yeast up on the bottom. Wasn't too difficult. I think I got it all. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna leave this cap on just so nothing nasty gets in there. And actually I'm gonna add a little bit more water than that. Want to have enough for it to separate in there. Okay. Just regular room temperature water that I'm using. So now what I'm gonna do, it's all broken up. I'm gonna lay our carboy here on its side. and I'm gonna leave it here for 20 minutes. So basically what's gonna happen here is there on the bottom, the tube is gonna come down here, and we're gonna have more of, you know, just the water and the suspended yeast up here. Okay, so in 20 minutes, we'll actually come back to this right here and we'll see how it's separated. Be right back. Okay, so you could probably tell in that little clip right there that we have gotten a lot of separation from that heavy trub that was at the top. It's settled down, and now we mostly just have a liquid layer with some yeast and suspension. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna transfer just the top clear layer into this jug, and then we're gonna let it settle again. And then what settles out here, we're gonna pour into our mason jar and consider it washed. Okay? Okay, so here we go. We're just gonna pour off that top layer into our sterilized jar. Use some of our easy clean here. So we're gonna give it 20 more minutes, and when this is settled, we're gonna pour off another nice clear top layer into our mason jar, and then we're gonna put that mason jar in the fridge, and we'll have some nice good washed yeast to use next time we need it. All right, everyone. Great success today. Cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to the yeast. Cheers to the bees. Cheers to us all, okay? So I realized when I came inside and got my, got hooked up to the laptop, I realized that I didn't get the last shot in there of me pouring into the mason jar, but that's fine. I just pulled the yeast out of the fridge. It's been in there for probably an hour now. I pulled it out a second ago, and it's already settling. The yeast is settling down there to the bottom, okay? When I use this yeast for a yeast starter in the future, next couple of months, I'm gonna decant, which basically just means I'm gonna pour off, you know, the top, and then shake the yeast around in the bottom, and then pour that into my starter wort. So I'll probably do a yeast starter video, you know, here next time I use that, and I'll show you how I do that, but I will use the yeast we collected today to do that with. One final note, when I put the mason jar lid on, I didn't wrench it on as tight as I could. I just barely went until it was a little bit snug. In case that yeast, you know, eating the remaining sugars produces some CO2, I want it to be able to let that CO2 out instead of holding it into the jar, okay? I don't want it to burst or anything like that. And also, I filled the yeast, as you might have noticed, clear to the top in the jar. Filled it all the way to the top because I don't want a lot of air in there, okay? I want what's in there to be nice and sanitary and sterile, and it'll be great next time we use it, okay? Thanks for playing along today, guys. Cheers. Have a great one. Keep brewing that beer, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.